एक फौजी के रुतबे से बड़ा कोई और रुतबा नहीं होता। वर्दी की शान से बड़ी कोई और शान नहीं होती, और अपने देश से बड़ा कोई धर्म नहीं होता।
Hi friends, welcome to the Modern Narrator. Today we will explain the movie named Sher Shah. This film is based on a true story. The movie starts with a war scene where Vikram Batra and his team are fighting against their enemies. Batra is leading the team. There is firing from both sides and a soldier from Batra's team fires on the enemy's bunker. And then suddenly the firing stops. All the soldiers start to move forward and suddenly the firing again starts from the enemy's side. Many soldiers from Batra's team are now injured. Batra ordered his team to move back and then says, only one bunker is left on the enemy's side. And then he moved towards the enemy's bunker with a grenade in his hand. Here the scene stops and a flashback is seen. You see Vikram is playing cricket with his friend and his brother. Meanwhile, their ball hits another boy sitting far from there. Vikram goes there and asks him for his ball, but the boy refuses. They start fighting, and Vikram snatches the ball from him and runs towards his home. When he reaches home, his father is very angry and rebukes him because he had fought with a boy who was 10 years older than him. Also, his father says you will never be able to excel in your life. In the next scene, Vikram's brother is seen inaugurating a show. He tells the audience that in the 80s there was a show named Prambir Chakar. But at that time, we went to our neighbor's house to watch that show because back then we had no television at our home. And it was Vikram's dream to join the army from his childhood. Whenever there is a 15th August celebration in school, all the other students go there wearing a white uniform, but Vikram goes wearing an army dress. He is an enthusiast and extremely eager to join the army. Now he is a 2-star soldier after training for 1.5 years in IMA. And his posting is in Kashmir. Captain Rajiv Kapoor and Bansi Lal come to receive him. Now, Vikram reaches the camp and introduces himself to all the soldiers. When he enters, he meets Captain Jimmy and there is also Lieutenant Ajay. Now we see that it has been more than 1 month since Vikram is posted in Kashmir. Vikram talks with everyone and is very friendly and people also respect him. There is a person named Ghafoor. He tells his son Arsalan to give Vikram something to eat. And there we see that Arsalan has been missing for some days, but he says he went to play with some of his friends. When they are going to a place to check, then Army Captain Jimmy tells all of them to stay away from these people and say those people can be dangerous. And Captain Jimmy asks them to have a distance from them. But Lieutenant Vikram says they will trust us if we trust them. And then they were checking on a checkpost. They get a piece of news that some weapons are going to transport from this route. But Lieutenant Vikram thinks that this news is fake and they are wasting their time. There arrive some terrorists after they have been doing checking for 3 hours. They are planning to run when they see an army checkpost. Lieutenant Vikram has doubts about them. He runs towards them and those terrorists start firing. Vikram also starts firing and asks his friends to cover. People start to run from the scene due to the firing, but Vikram is continuously moving forward and attacking the terrorist. There, the head of the terrorist gang is running away, but Lieutenant Vikram attacks him and captures that leader. But here, Captain Jimmy becomes very angry with Vikram because he doesn't follow his orders. When they are in camp, Bansi Lal praises Vikram and says, when you become captain, please add us in your league too. And there, Captain Jimmy comes and appreciates Vikram and says, you can call me Jimmy. I'm only 6 months senior to you. And then they become good friends. Vikram then comes to his bed. He reads a letter from the Dimple. When he is reading the letter, the story moves to flashback again. Now, Vikram is in college. There he likes a girl. Her name is Dimple. Vikram becomes very happy and decides to give a treat to his friend. He takes his friend to the army canteen. There they order wine, but the shopkeeper refuses by saying this is only for army persons. Vikram then makes a commitment to him that he will not touch wine until he joins the army. After that, the college staff goes on a picnic trip with their college management. There, Vikram and Dimple talk to each other and they came to know that they love each other. Dimple also came to know that Vikram wants to join the army. One day, when Vikram is dropping Dimple at her home, Dimple's father saw them and calls Vikram at their home. He tells Vikram that you are Punjabi Khatri and we are Sikh. We can't allow this marriage. But when Vikram tells his family about Dimple, they agree and become very happy. One day, when Dimple returns from her college, her father tells her that they have made the decision for her marriage. At this, Dimple says she will only marry Vikram and no one else. Just because Dimple's father is not agreeing, Vikram decides to join the Navy rather than the army. But his friend becomes very angry and tells him, "This girl has become part of your life some days ago, but to join the army is your childhood dream." After this, Vikram changes his decision and tells Dimple that he will join the army. Dimples becomes very angry after hearing those words because she has told that Vikram will now join the Navy at her home. After that, Dimple tells Vikram not to call her until he joins the army. Now the story moves to the present. Here, the Captain Jimmy tells Vikram the terrorist we caught that day, his name is Ataullah, and he is the special person of Heather. After so much disturbance, Heather will never sit in silence. And here, Vikram asks the captain where he got this news. At this, captain refuses by saying that the information the source is always confidential. Now we see Heather. There he kills the 4 person who has given the information to the soldiers. And here we see Arsalan, who is the son of Ghafoor. Heather has selected Arsalan to go to Pakistan along with 3 other persons. The person killed by Heather are hanged on the road. And now we see the Lieutenant General. He is praising Vikram and Jimmy because they caught Ataullah bravely. One night when Vikram and his friends are going somewhere, they found Ghafoor on the way. Ghafoor tells them that his son Arsalan is in danger. Heather has selected him to go abroad despite Arsalan doesn't want to do all of this. Ghafoor asks them for help, but Vikram says he has to ask his senior captain regarding this matter. Ghafoor says that they can't trust anyone other than Vikram. The Vikram tells Arsalan, "Just be with them and don't do anything else for now. I will soon meet you again." In the next scene, we see that some officers are told about hidden weapons, and when they reached there, they found all the weapons at that place. When they were carrying those weapons in a truck, they were attacked by a bomb and enemy starts firing at them. In return, India's soldiers also fired, but many soldiers are dead in this encounter because they were not ready for the sudden fight. Bansilal also dies in this encounter. The next day, Lieutenant Vikram meets Arsalan and asks about Heather's address. Lieutenant Vikram discusses with his other officers, and he then comes to know that Heather doesn't reside in one place. But still, the Lieutenant General gives him the permission. Vikram moves ahead with his whole team and surrounds Heather's home from all sides. They start searching for Heather. Some enemies are there but not the Heather, and they are not able to find out the trace of Heather there. They got a call from the head office to return, but Vikram's gut feeling says Heather is there. There are some good persons who are then rescued. Suddenly, Vikram sees a person in a veil wearing male shoes. He understands and captures him. He is Heather just as he thought. A firing starts and Captain Vikram kills Heather. All the people in Vikram League praise them for their efforts and this courageous task. Now Vikram is going to his home. On the other side, we see that enemy has come to India's land and removed India's flag. And Vikram is in his house spending all of his time with Dimple. One day when Vikram is watching television, he comes to know that across the border, the situation is not well. He then meets his friend and tells him that he has to go back, but his friend asks, "Your leave isn't ended yet." But Vikram wants to go back because of the critical situation. The next day he meets Dimple and left for the army. When Vikram comes into the camp, he watches the news that the army has returned the dead bodies of soldiers who died in the war. Now Indian army is getting ready for a war. They are just waiting for orders. Then suddenly firing starts there. In this encounter, many soldiers die. Captain Ajay also dies in this firing. All the soldiers are raged and angry. Lieutenant General comes there and says, "We should get ready for the war. When we will talk to you on radio communication, you will be called by code name." And then Captain Vikram is given the code name Sher Shah, while Jimmy is given the name Sangram. Now Lieutenant General is telling them to plan and make 2 groups and tell them to attack from both sides. One group is led by Sher Shah and the other by Sangram. He tells that point 4150 is at 17,000 height and the oxygen level is very low at that place. He said that we should start at night because the enemy is on height and he can see us anytime. From the bottom, the Lieutenant General will do firing to get their attention to the bottom. Now Sher Shah and Sangram starts to take off for their fight and they start attacking in the morning. Firing starts on both sides, but the Indian army killed all the enemies. And the Vikram tells the victory code to Lieutenant General because this mission was now successful. Now Lieutenant Vikram is made the captain. Here we see the interview of Captain Vikram on television. His family are very happy to see him. Vikram tells all about his mission and how his mission gets successful. Also, he tells his code name Sher Shah, and Dimple is also very happy to see him on the television. Now Lieutenant General tells Vikram about the point 4875. Vikram says if we capture that point, then the war will end. But the Lieutenant General is sending another unit to that place. But the Captain Vikram convinces them to go there by himself. And now Vikram is making his unit ready to go at that point. In the next scene, firing starts at both sides and Sher Shah's team destroys all the bunkers. But many Indian soldiers die there. The story continues from the scene which started the movie and was cut into flashbacks. Captain Vikram Batra is moving towards the enemy's bunker with a grenade in his hand and blows the bunker. Captain Vikram tells the general that there are also other enemies coming to that place. Vikram is going to protect a soldier when a bullet from a sniper kills him. He falls, but he saw that his unit has won this war. But Captain Vikram Batra is killed in this mission, and all of his cities gather to pay a tribute to him. Then Dimple comes, but she couldn't see Vikram's face. And then we see that Captain Batra's brother, who exactly looks like Vikram Batra, is telling the story of his captain brother. And at the end we also see the real Captain Vikram Batra. And the movie ends here. If you like this movie, then please subscribe to our channel.